have more discussion on this. Juan Williams is co-host of The Five. Ed Rollins, former principal White House advisor to President Ronald Reagan. Both are Fox News political analysts. Okay, so a lot of fireworks going on Capitol Hill. I'm going to turn to Juan first because this is a Democratic story today. Bernie Sanders milking this with all these meetings, but he's not dropping out.
No, but I mean, what we've seen today, I think the big message was he does not want Donald Trump to win the White House. And there's a lot of discussion about whether or not some of the people who are so passionate for Bernie, Gretchen, in fact, could never support Hillary Clinton and therefore might, in fact, defect to the Republican side and Donald Trump's campaign. In specific, we're looking at, you know, a lot of the industrial Midwest states like Michigan, Ohio, parts of Pennsylvania, even down along the Appalachian Trail if you go into Kentucky and so forth. That could help flip some states that have been historically blue-red and change the electoral map for Trump.
Well, why wouldn't he, Ed, then come out today after meeting with President Obama and say more than what he said? He said, yes, I don't want Donald Trump to become president, and I'm behind Hillary Clinton. But if he really wanted to help her, he'd come out and say, I'm out of the race, vote for Hillary Clinton.
Well, then the motorcade goes away. Goes back to driving himself. I think he is given a very significant challenge that no one expected early on. I think he's got a large following. As he has said, he's created a whole new generation of progressives, which I think is important to his party. I think he doesn't want to go back to the back of the Senate chambers, which is where he goes when this is done. And I think he's going to milk it as long as he can. And I think he's going to go to the convention. He's going to bring his troops to the convention. He wants to make a speech. He wants to participate in the platform. And all of that will come to naught sooner or later. And she's the nominee, and she'll go off and challenge it.
He has immense leverage. And he's not even a Democrat. He's a socialist, okay? Did he stick it to President Obama today by coming out and not saying total party unity?
No, no. I think that, in fact, the thought is you have to view this as a process, and you have to give the guy some space. I mean, historically, I was reminded yesterday that when Howard Dean was trying to hang on versus Al Gore, that he just went off. You know, he had his famous screeching rant, but he had a rant apparently on the phone with Al Gore, and eventually Al Gore said to him, you know, Howard, this is not about you, it's about the country, it's about the party. Well, I think that the sense is you got to make sure that Bernie Sanders feels respected, because down the line, Gretchen, you don't want him to act as if he has been disrespected, or that his followers would say, you know what, it's that status quo establishment in the Democratic Party that we don't like, that we thought was unfair to us during the campaign.
Right, but Ed, why then schedule a meeting with President Obama if you're not ready to have that party unity? He could have gone up. He's going to meet with Schumer and Vice President Biden,
I assume the president expected the surrendering of the sword, and no offense to your great knowledge, but Howard Dean only won Vermont when he was running and was not a factor. This guy has won 22 states.
And done well.
And done well. So my sense is he wants to milk it as long as he can. I think the key thing here is how he gets his supporters to come over on the other side. And I'm reminded when Carter and Kennedy had their knockdown primary battle in 1980, 28% of the Kennedy supporters voted for Reagan. So I think there's still a real faction out there that they've got to fight hard for, and obviously Trump will go fight hard for.
So obviously Sanders has immense power, immense leverage going into the convention, whether or not he's still in the race or not. One of the things that's sort of been speculated is that he wants Debbie Wasserman Schultz out as head of DNC. Is he going to get that?
He wants it. We'll see what plays out. Now, Debbie Wasserman Schultz has her own troubles, Gretchen. I mean, some significant troubles with people beyond Bernie Sanders. So this could be an inflection point there. I don't know what to speculate on that.
The president came out this morning and basically, or yesterday, and said he totally endorses her. I think she may leave at the end of the convention. She certainly is not going to give it up before then. She can argue she's got to go back and help win a Florida Senate race, which is the Rubios. But I think they're going to let her go out with some grace and some dignity.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about Elizabeth Warren, because she was the only Democratic female senator to not endorse Hillary Clinton early on. Now, apparently, she's set to endorse her, and she's going to deliver a speech tonight about Donald Trump. So she's expected to call Trump this, quote, loud, nasty, and a thin-skinned fraud. That would be some of the nicer stuff she said about him, Juan.
Yeah, I mean, they've been going back and forth. He called her Pocahontas and all this other stuff. So it's kind of, you know, schoolyard back and forth. I guess it satisfies some instinct and allows Hillary Clinton to stay a little bit above the fray. I might say, though, that getting back to our earlier story, Sanders would be very happy to have someone as politically progressive as Elizabeth Warren or Sherrod Brown from Ohio on the ticket.
Okay.
And equally as important, it's a good thing for Hillary that this lady didn't run against her in this primary.
Okay, now let's talk about, though, the VP role tends to be one of doing the hatchet job against the other candidate. Elizabeth Warren's been doing a really good job of that. Could there be any reason why Hillary Clinton would choose Elizabeth Warren as a VP, Ed?
I think 2 women on the ticket, 2 liberals, I think will basically really energize the conservative base even more than it is today.
Juan?
I think it would energize the liberal base. A lot of Sanders supporters, people would then, I think, feel that they were more connected. And Sanders, boy, he would be more enthusiastic than ever.
Would she ever choose Sanders?
No.
Ed?
I don't think so. You know, they had so much problem with Gore at the end of the day. I think they want someone she's very compatible with.
All right. A panel. Great analysis.
Thank you.
It's great to have the both of you.
My pleasure.
Thank you.